All right, it's Random Rambling Wednesday time. Woo! JP's over there waking up.
Yeah, man, it's been a busy morning. I'm wore out already.
Have you?
But I feel good.
Have you been busy?
We both been busy.
We have, yeah. It's been one of those mornings.
Yeah, we've had movers and shakers in here all morning.
Good times, though.
Yeah, good time.
Good times.
Stuff. Friendly people.
So, I'm Justin.
Oh, and I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead. From the name, you can tell we probably do talk a little bit about The Walking Dead.
That's how we got started.
It's definitely not all that we do. We talk about Game of Thrones as well. And we have our current events podcast we had yesterday. I definitely advise take a listen to it. I thought it was very fun.
Yeah, we talk about everything that's trending.
Everything trending. Just stories we find on Google and Yahoo and I would say Bing, but I haven't been to Bing in a long time.
Bing.
Bing.
I didn't know that was still a thing.
Is it still a thing, or did they shut it down? I don't know. But this is the one podcast a week where we just talk about any and everything and absolutely nothing all at once. Language and content warning. This is the one where we get unchained.
Yeah, we talk about Dookie and stuff getting flung.
The JJs.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
We talk a little bit about everything. So, it just is no telling where the conversation will go. All the other ones are fairly okay for everybody to listen to. But this one, not so much. So you've been warned. And stay tuned to the end of the podcast to get some social media info if you want to follow us other than on here. So,
right.
JP. What's been up, man?
Oh, just the same old. I know we've talked about this before. Somebody showed me yesterday the Amazon documentary about flat earthers and flat Earth. I think that looks pretty good,
Yeah, I hear you're not going to like the way it ends, but we'll see.
Oh, maybe not. But it looks like they're taking it's not such a biased look. I hadn't watched the Netflix documentary, but which I don't know if that's really a documentary as much as just a, look at these stupid idiots.
Well, I don't know. Explain this to me since you're a flat earther. And I'm not being biased. I'm asking general questions here.
Sure.
Okay, so you blame the camera if you go up high and you see the curvature of the earth. But then, all right, so my dad's got a drone. And again, I'm asking.
Sure.
I'm asking. My dad has a drone. I'm getting ready to get a drone, a sweet Iron Man drone, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I might order that tonight. But so my dad's got a drone, and he flies it. When he goes up a little ways, there's nothing curved. I can't see any curvature or anything. Everything looks flat. It's like a regular camera. But when he takes it way on up, gets it, like way higher than...
Sure.
You can start to see where it looks like the land is curved. Explain that to me. Why is it we see it that way?
It has a lot to do with how light bends and refracts. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been I was delving deep there for a good while, but
yes,
I haven't been looking into that much lately. So the information's not exactly on the top of my head. But if I can just talk about it generally speaking for a second, whether the Earth is flat, round, opaque, whatever, basically. My biggest point is I absolutely, whether you believe or don't believe, whether I believe, what I do believe 100% is that the powers that be, call them what you will, world government, Illuminati, the Pope, or whatever, I believe it's absolutely possible and even plausible that they would perpetrate a lie on this grand a scale and put, fixtures in place to make you believe the great lie. Whether it's flat Earth, whether it's this, that, or the other, what have you. I absolutely believe that we could be lied to and made to believe something on that grand a scale. That's really...
Well, there's common ground, because I do believe
that's the crux of my argument. Really.
I do believe that the government would, and probably has, messed with our perception of reality or the way we view certain things.
They do it all the time.
But it's just the flat Earth that I couldn't really get behind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm periscoping now. So.
Okay, beautiful. And, yep, you're live.
Did you give you a notification?
I sure did. I got 2. I don't know why, but yeah, man. And like I said, there is a lot about flat Earth that I find fascinating. I'm not, backing off my stance. I do think it's compelling. I do need to kind of re-up on my research so I can come in here and actually, spit some knowledge. But I'm, I need to reinvestigate. I've been getting back into like lost civilizations and stuff, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's been the focal point of like your what am I looking for here? You're you don't like conspiracy. You don't like the term conspiracy.
Well, the lost civilization stuff's not even so much a conspiracy. I mean, it's kind of frowned upon as pseudoscience, but more and more evidence is, starting to reveal that, I mean, human civilization goes way further back than 6, even 10,000 years. And like I said, I don't want to get stuck on this. I know a lot of listeners, don't care about, the ancient history. And
they might. Hey, this is, excuse me, this is our podcast.
It's true.
In the sense of this random ramblings is. Other podcasts we do, we won't get onto that on those podcasts because they might be tuned in to listen to The Walking Dead or tuned in and talk about Game of Thrones or current events. No, this is why we have random ramblings. These conversations can go anywhere. So you get on whatever you want to get on. This is your free space to talk about whatever you want.
I also kind of feel like we've treaded this ground before. I don't want to... I don't want the listeners to think they're getting a rerun or whatever. Like, oh, they just didn't have anything to talk about, so they're going back over stuff they've talked about before. You see what I'm saying? I worry about these things.
Now, see, we found some common ground on the flat Earth thing. I don't believe the Earth is flat, not for a second. But where I can find common ground with you is I do totally believe the powers to be would have and will lie to us to shape some kind of narrative they want us to follow. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Or even experiment by perpetrating big lies to see how fast. I've heard the flat Earth thing was started by the government.
CIA psyop.
And that they just wanted to see how easily they could get an outrageous idea to become the general consensus. To be generally accepted.
Possible. I mean, I know a lot of people think that, the accepted story about 9/11, say a generation from now is going to be totally different. I mean, right now there's hardly anybody who even knows about what building 7, Tower 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
The building that just kind of collapsed at free fall speed when no plane hit it. Most people don't even know about that. And so, I mean, a lot of people think that 9/11 give it another 50 years, who knows what the narrative about that'll be.
Tell us a little bit about Building 7. We won't get into a deep rabbit hole of 9/11. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's something. My ability to retain knowledge has gotten to the point to where, man, I'll research something and
that's because you're getting older, man.
I guess,
that's just I have the same problem. I used to spit facts at you. I love random facts. I have an entire. You've probably seen my shelf of random facts in my house. I have an entire bookshelf that is just random fact books. And I used to spit them at you like that. Now that I'm getting older, I'm like, wait a minute, what was it? Is it China that if they all stood in a line and walked in front of you, which I actually do remember that. If everyone in China stood in a line and walked single file in front of you, you would die before the line ended. Mm-hmm. But, it's a lot of times where I'm like, I can't, philosophy. I love philosophy. And now I can't even remember half the philosophers' names. And I used to be able to spit this stuff at you like that.
I'm telling you, man, I've gotten to the point to where I feel like it's a waste of time for me to read an actual book because I enjoy it while I'm reading. But by the time I've finished it, I don't remember what the fuck I just read, Right. I can tell you, I can name some of my favorite books and have really, besides some high notes, no idea what happened in them. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I can understand that.
My mind's turning to mush. I think it has a lot to do with these smartphones.
I think so, too, and I think it has to do with now as an adult, you have a lot more responsibility. I mean, you're working multiple jobs. You have a lot of responsibility at both jobs. I mean, you've got a podcast going. You do a morning show. I think it's just, too, it's not so much that we're getting older or that, I think it's just that we have so many distractions.
Yeah, maybe so. Need to eliminate some. But no, Building 7, man, a plane hit both of the Twin Towers. This was a significantly shorter building. And, people say that just, fires caught on and it just, burned and collapsed. But, this is a building that, falls at free fall speed, basically.
Right.
And it's just, and it's one of those things. I also hear that maybe there was a fuel tanks below the buildings. I don't know. But another curious thing, though, is Donald Rumsfeld. It was some government office that kept up with finances and a bunch of money went missing from the Pentagon or something like that. Like I said, man, I can't fucking remember this shit. But basically, a lot of convenient information as far as government finance just got wiped out when that building collapsed. So.
Well, in that instance now, that definitely adds a shred of but one thing that people need to, not you, because I get that right there just kind of changes everything and gives you a motive. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, too, when they come up with conspiracy theories, have to realize sometimes stuff just happens. Stuff that's unexplainable and then just seems weird is just and like what made me think about that was when you were talking about that building and you were like there might have been gas trucks in front of it and stuff like that. And it's like, not saying that it wasn't, a conspiracy. But what I'm saying is sometimes in life, certain things do happen to where it's like, why did that building just randomly explode? Yeah. Well, there just happened to be, sometimes coincidence is a very strange thing. But in this instance, it definitely seems to be motive and stuff. I'm just talking about,
And for people out there who, know all the ins and outs of this thing, I apologize. I know I'm butchering the information, but it's not fresh on my head, so I'm not regurgitating.
I don't think you're butchering. If you were butchering, you'd just be spouting out a bunch of random stuff. At least you're, talking on what you know.
Right. And, man, it's a lot of, it's a lot of what ifs with that. With the... they talk about there was never really any plane wreckage that came out of the Pentagon after it hit. So,
I've heard that, which is weird because my aunt worked at the Pentagon and was working when the plane hit it. She was on a golf cart inside the Pentagon when it got hit. Yeah, they ride golf carts around in there because it's such a big building, to get from one area to another. And she said she was on a golf cart when it hit, and she assures me that a plane did hit it. But
really?
She works.
But if she did know, she probably wouldn't tell.
Right. Well, there have been times I'm telling you where we've asked her about stuff, and she might just be really good at acting. But she seemed to be very like, we'd be like, are aliens real, or is this blah blah blah? And she'd just be like, I can't talk about any of that stuff.
Right.
It'd be like, is it because you're hiding something, or is it just because you're messing with us because we're kids?
Yeah, man. It was some story. I don't know where I read it, but I don't know if it's naval pilots or Air Force people. They're actually telling the government that, you got to reverse your stance on. In fact, I tagged our buddy Matt on it. You got to back off on telling us not to report UFO sightings.
Wait, what? Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
They've been told to stop, just stop reporting when they see UFOs.
Let me. I've got the article right here. It'll take 2 seconds to pull it up. I thought it was pretty interesting because what really got me into truth-seeking kind of stuff was UFOs growing up. I was like a rabid X-Files fan. Love the X-Files. So the UFO stuff's obviously one, and Sasquatch stuff is one of the first things you're going to get into. And then a little later on, there was the I got into Alex Jones's 9/11 documentaries and all that kind of thing. John Prine, Benjamin's Tomlin, but it's yes. I'm sorry, I'm making these erotic noises.
Please don't stop.
I commented and I tagged our old buddy Matt in it because he was saying, why do you think there's not so many UFO sightings and ghost sightings now? It's because everyone has smartphones and they'd have the ability to take pictures of this stuff. Oh, there it is. It was on GoDan Rivers' post. Nothing like silence. I like it. We can cut that out post out.
Silence. No, we're going to leave it.
We're going to leave it.
This is unfiltered.
Yeah, we'll just call that a moment of silence.
I just had posted, a Periscope, and I'm just realizing these images that it's trying to put as, the thumbnail or whatever are pretty unflattering.
Oh, yeah, they often are. No, this is how angry pilots got the Navy to stop dismissing UFO sightings.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, how do you like that?
How do you like them apples?
Unexplained aerial phenomena.
JP, I'm telling you, the listeners, they crave a conspiracy podcast.
Yeah, I know. We've gotten a lot of requests for that.
People, they want it. They need it.
They do.
And I don't think we should deny it. Deny them of it any longer.
You're right, man. I should really read this article off the air. But yeah, like I said, man, there's stuff going on that we don't know about.
Well, and I'll tell you, too, one thing to consider with today's podcast, if we sound a little off, this morning was ridiculous. We had interviews that we didn't realize that we had, and it's a long story, but anyways, we had a studio full of people, and we're completely not expecting it.
Yeah, man, I'm a little talked out. We talked to the superintendent of a big school system. We talked to a guy who's running marathons for Jesus. A lot of cool stuff. Good people, wonderful people, but
running marathons for Jesus.
Isn't that his whole shtick?
Pretty much, yeah. Running. I mean, it's religious inspired, but I think he's like trying to, raising money for a cause.
Oh yeah. There's
cancer.
actually, there's really good cause. He's not just doing it to send like Bibles to Ethiopia or anything,
right?
But they probably have plenty of Bibles down there anyway.
I'm sure.
Have you seen that thing where they think the Ark of the Covenant might have made it down to Ethiopia, and that's where it still is?
No, please explain.
Like some Ethiopian prince or something was chilling up in Israel or Jerusalem or whatever, and he was just like, man, that box looks fucking cool. We taking it home.
I was say, that's a pretty sweet little box there.
Yeah,
Let's take it
something
home.
like that, man. Or maybe there was like a wife swap going on. I don't remember.
Wife swap?
Man, that's more Graham Hancock stuff, which if you haven't heard Graham Hancock's latest interview on Joe Rogan, check it out. He's talking about the Americas, how it looks like civilization was in the Americas long before anyone thought. Like there wasn't, because we were taught in school that just people from Europe and Asia crossed the land bridge, like,
right.
From up there to across into Alaska, and but he thinks that they were actually like sailing on the fucking Pacific Ocean, brother. And now they found signs of an advanced civilization in the Amazon jungle when they didn't think people inhabited that until just like 1,000 years ago or something. And it's cool, man. Stuff's coming out, and these dismissive scientists who don't want their whole life's work and research, toppled over,
right,
are having to accept this new information.
They're trying to fight it because it discredits their achievements, right?
I mean, imagine it, you've made your living in radio, and then someone comes along and tells you you've been doing it wrong the whole time, and
right,
this is how you need to accept it. But no, like they're bulldozing a lot of the Amazon rainforest for highways and farmland and stuff.
Right.
And now they're finding evidence of like big megalithic structures. And they say there was up to like 20 million people living in the Amazon, cities comparable to like London at the time in the Amazon jungle.
Really?
And then the conquistadors came down there and,
just messed it all up.
Well, spread smallpox. And within 50 years, the entire population was wiped out. And then 50 years later, the Spaniards come back like, oh, man, they were talking about these awesome cities down here. And next thing you know, the jungles just swallowed them back up.
Thank goodness we don't have smallpox no more thanks to vaccinations.
Possibly. I'm telling you, you look at some of the ingredients in those vaccines, man, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, I've heard aluminum, all that. But at the end of the day, I don't have smallpox. So
yeah, but
I can't wait till tomorrow's mail call because Brianne McCann, longtime listener,
yes,
she went in on you, son.
Oh, yeah?
For your anti-vax stuff. She said that you're absolutely wrong about old people dying because of the flu and not getting flu shots.
So she's a doctor or a scientist or something?
She works some kind of like in the medical, like physical therapy maybe or something. I don't know. She works somewhere. She's closer to a doctor than we are.
I don't know. I've watched a lot of MASH over the years.
I watched Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, when I was a kid. Did that count?
Man.
The show sucked, but it was on.
Yeah,
my grandma watched it.
That used to be on a lot.
I wasn't a big fan.
But how can that be true? I mean, if that train of thought is correct, I mean, the more people getting flu shots, the less the flu's going around, so the less old people would get the flu.
We'll save it for tomorrow.
But I'm just saying that's I've heard that, and
she says it has more to do with old people's immune systems than it does us not getting the flu shot.
Yeah, but I'm still saying if people are getting the flu shot and less people getting the flu, then.
But at the end of the day, though, not saying old people don't die from the flu, because some do, but not at the rate that you're perpetuating this. Like you're acting like it's a worldwide phenomenon that old people are dying in droves because of the flu. And a lot of old people, my grandma got the flu when she was in her 70s. I mean, she laid in bed for a day or two. She took medicine and she was fine. So you're portraying it as if by not getting a flu shot, you're killing so many people.
I never named numbers. I never put numbers.
But you said all these old people or something.
All these old people, yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, me not getting, I'm vaccinated, and I'm proud to be vaccinated, and I had to quit getting the flu shots because the last two flu shots I got made me feel a little blue, which I get it. You get the flu, they give you a weaker version of the virus, you get sick or whatever, and then you get better. But at the end of the day, not having my flu shot is still much better than me not having like a smallpox shot or measles or all of these other polio, all of these terrible diseases. So at the end of the day, if the only thing I'm spreading every now and again, which I don't get the flu, the only time I got the flu is when I got the flu shot. I haven't had the flu since I was a kid, other than that.
Now, the AARP says that flu deaths rising for Americans over 65.
What kind of rate, though? How many people are dying?
I'm trying to
see if you can find out why, contributing factors. And it might be not getting the flu shot. I'm not saying I shouldn't get the flu shot. I'm just saying the last few times I got the flu shot, my ass got sick.
Now, let's...
If you can prove to me that me not getting the flu shot is killing old people, then I'll happily endure sickness once a year to get a flu shot to save the old people. But at the end of the day, I still stand by vaccinations because, yeah, maybe if I'm a little bit hypocritical for not getting the flu shot because I got sick, so be it. At the end of the day, though, I've got most of the main vaccinations that are the most important.
This says, in addition to a large death toll in 2017 and 18, the number of flu-related hospitalizations of those 65 and older was higher than we've seen in any previous year.
And flu strands mutate. That's the problem they have. So I can get a flu shot today, and tomorrow it can have mutated, and my flu shot is completely irrelevant.
Okay, so it says cause of death like 15,500 fatalities in 2017. Nearly 80% of those who died from flu were 65 or older. 12,230, a significant increase over recent years. I mean, I don't think that's not like a massive chunk of the population.
I was going to say, you got to think, 15,000 sounds like a lot. Let's do the math and see what percentage of the population that is. It's pretty small.
Yeah, but if I went out and killed 15,000 people, you'd probably think I was a bad guy. But anyway.
I doubt those 15,000 people died because I didn't get the flu shot.
Yeah, but still. It better be contributing to the solution. But no, enough of that. Say the government came out with a new vaccine tomorrow, and they wanted to administer it to the general population. Would you get in line to get the
I have to learn more about it. What's this for?
I don't know. Let's just say it's a...
no, I would never just jump at something without learning what I was putting in my body.
Well,
but what is it?
It's CDC approved. Let's say it's for colon cancer, for something that kills a lot of people. Would you get the vaccine? Would you trust the government enough to get in line and get that shot?
I don't trust the government enough. I trust the nursing staff and the doctors and the researchers who have cured things like polio and smallpox.
But CDC, at the end of the day, isn't that a government organization?
It is, but I don't think, whoever you think in the government's pulling the strings. Yeah. I don't think that there's some big sinister plot.
I think population control is a real thing, man.
I could see that, but at the end of the day... Would I take it? Maybe. That just depends. I can't say yes or no. It would have to depend. How have people been reacting to it? How have tests gone? I don't think this would just pop up overnight. So it's kind of an unrealistic scenario in the sense of it's not something that would just be like, hey, by the way, go to your local doctor's office because we have colon cancer vaccines, which a vaccine wouldn't work for colon cancer because it isn't a vaccine for viruses.
I'm just throwing out a hypothetical. But I'm just saying, all right, it comes in the news now, a year from now, everyone's getting this vaccine for whatever it is.
I might wait a little while, but yeah.
Let's say it's a swine flu that's, killing people. But I don't know, man. I think what if they could release, 10 years down the road that this vaccine now is contributing to people getting cancer and dying from a vaccine they got 10 years ago?
That's everything. Yeah. That's the pills you take, the weed you smoke. Down the road, they may find out that, right now we think, don't get me wrong, I am 100% in favor of marijuana legalization, and both recreational use and medical use. You know what I'm saying? But there are times, like with vaping right now, there's back and forth, but they don't really seem to think that there's that many terrible effects. But 20 years from now, it might be giving people butt cancer.
Well, one thing I can say, man, is I think population control is a real thing. They're already poisoning us. God damn it.
Deepen your voice. Sound like Alex Jones when you say this.
They're already poisoning us, Justin. I'm telling you, with the chemtrails in the sky, with the preservatives in your food, with the ibuprofen. God, don't get me started with what's in the ibuprofen, Justin.
What is in the ibuprofen, Alex?
I don't actually know. But no, I'm just saying, man, I think population control is a real thing. And like I said, the CDC, it's a government operation. And Big Pharma has their hooks into government so much with the super PACs, with the politicians they get behind. I don't.
They do. They do. I think Big Pharma is.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't say honestly that if I had a kid, I wouldn't let them get vaccinated. But if there was like I said, if it was a scenario where like the government was pushing a mass inoculation of all adults throughout the country, I can't honestly say I'd get in line and get it. I really don't.
Just depends, man. Just depends.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if we were in some kind of pandemic where people were dying in droves, it might be a different story. But I don't know. I just don't know.
It's like I don't even have the energy to debate this today.
Yeah, like I said, this is
I'm not saying stop. Like, you're doing fine. I'm saying for anybody listening, like, man, thinking how bad I suck right now because I'm not contributing to the conversation. I'm just letting you know that I am. No, you're doing great. You're carrying this podcast.
Oh, no, man.
I don't have the energy.
I'm not even like in a debate kind of sense. I'm just just think about where these vaccines are coming from, and say this was a brand new thing.
Well, it's always scary when you're putting something into your body.
You're right.
That is not a sexual innuendo there. But I mean, it's always scary when you're putting something in your body. I mean, you're putting your trust in this stranger to put something helpful into your body that won't hurt you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we've seen with a lot of these vaccines that the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
Big time.
Perhaps.
Big time.
Perhaps.
I mean, like I said, you don't have smallpox. That's great.
Yeah.
I keep going to smallpox, polio, like measles, but there's lots of other vaccines out there for lots of other things. Those are the three that come to mind. But
I mean, now there's even a
HPV vaccine, right? Yeah, that wasn't available when we were kids, was it?
I think probably like the high. I know like high schoolers not long after I graduated started getting it, but yeah, definitely not when I was in high school.
Yeah, that would have been helpful for a lot of people, I'm sure.
But no, man, I'm just always, they're out to get us in some capacity. I don't know. Maybe they're slipping little masked agents into stuff now, and it's helping with population control. And I mean, you look, the like IQ in general is going down, across the board. So who's to say what's contributing to it?
Right.
Could be stuff in the water and vaccines and food. It could be like the Joker. Remember Jack Nicholson's Joker? He put chemicals in all these different products.
Makeups and stuff.
Yeah, and it was, you had to get the right combination of the right stuff for it to affect you. So
right.
Maybe it's something like that, man. I do think there's an evil master plan, though.
And do you think that could be again, let me break something down here real quick.
Break it down, brother.
Sometimes when I play the straight man, number one, you got to realize when we podcast, we're taking on roles. Most of the time, I'll take on the straight man role. Sometimes JP will be way out there. But sometimes, as JP will play devil's advocate for the sake of argument, sometimes I will. And I just feel like sometimes people like what I'm about to ask, people will be like, so blind, open your mind. Like I'm asking for the sake of asking. But anyways. So why do you think that there always is some master supervillain? Do you think that maybe this could be related to your love of comics and cartoons and stuff? That maybe just your mind has been conditioned to believe there's always some big villain?
I mean, I think you can go back in history. There's always,
always conspiracy and cover up. Always. That's something I will never. I love my country and I love. I love being an American, but man, I'm not gonna make excuses for our government. Our government has done a lot of nasty, terrible things and covered it up.
Oh yeah, dude.
As if it never happened. And that's fact. You know what I mean? That's fact. That's declassified documents. I mean,
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you look at like Operation Northwoods, like the dirty stuff they were doing in Cuba. I mean, they were targeting civilian populations with terrorist acts to try to
Hasn't it been proven? Hasn't it been proven, declassified, that Kennedy had a plan to stage an attack, to go to war with Cuba, to gain support from Americans and in Congress to go to? I mean, hasn't that been proven somewhere that they had a actual plan?
That might be a part of Operation Northwoods.
Maybe so.
I know they were, like I said, they were doing like terrorist acts on civilians. I don't know if that was to turn the people against Castro. Shit, like I said, man, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a tough morning to podcast.
Yeah.
I really started to say we're just not going to podcast today, but we didn't podcast last week on Wednesday, so I was like, we can't go 2 weeks without podcasting.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little scatterbrained.
Yeah, I am too. But yeah, no, I mean, sometimes it's just fun to ask the questions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm so congested, man. It sucks. If y'all could hear, you probably can hear it through JP's mic, but I'm turning off my mic like every 5 minutes to like just try and get some of it gone.
Okay, yeah, Operation Northwoods. Proposals call for the CIA or other U.S. government operatives to commit acts of terrorism against American civilians and military targets, blaming them on the Cuban government. So, yeah, that was Operation Northwoods.
Yeah.
I was thinking for some reason the CIA was trying to kill Cubans, but no, it was basically trying to make the
right, like it was a false flag. Well, was false flag the right
that'd
term?
Be a false
flag. Yeah, it was like gonna pretend like we were attacked to gain support to go to war or whatever.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's also been declassified. The American government spent millions producing fake ISIS execution videos, like ISIS people executing, whoever.
So you're saying those videos that were out like a couple of years ago, were those the fake ones? Or?
I don't know if they were fake or not, but I know it's been declassified. The government spent X amount of money, and it was a lot of money producing ISIS videos.
I've not heard of this. No kidding.
Yeah, it's for real.
I made the mistake of watching only one.
Yeah, I've never watched one, man.
One.
I never really knew where to find them.
Dude.
Were they on YouTube?
Like Live Leak and stuff.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's just morbid curiosity. Everybody can sit up on their high horse, and But I mean, it just I like somebody shared a link to it. It's not like I went and researched it, like looking for it. Somebody shared a link on Facebook, and I was like, I clicked on it, and I only got a few seconds in. I was like, nope, don't want to see it.
Yep,
do not want to see it. But it's horrible. So I mean, I hope. Honestly, kind of hope it's fake, just because I would hate, which then again, though, people die that way all the time, and it's horrible. So, Oh my God, I need a nap.
Hey, brother.
I'm so out of it today, man. I apologize for this very slow podcast. JP has been killing it and carrying it, and we appreciate that.
I don't know about that. Like I said, half the stuff I want to talk about, I can't really jog my memory enough to throw anything,
Well, it's New Comic Day. I think we're both excited to get over there and see what we got.
I'm excited for that.
Let's wrap this up. We'll be back tomorrow for mail call. And I apologize. This morning, like I said, we had someone come in. We had like 3 or 4 people in, and it just kind of really was not.
Neither one of us knew they were even coming through.
So we were glad to have them, but at the end of the day, we're kind of mentally exhausted because we've been interviewing for the last 2 hours. So all
about
radio,
stuff that we are not interested in at all. I don't know about you, man. I mean, cool people to talk to, but not exactly,
Right, but interviewing skills and question and answer are just gone for the day. So we'll be back tomorrow with mail call. If you haven't, leave a mail call question on the mail call from last week or on this video. Hashtag it with mail call, and it'll make it easier for us to find. We got some interesting questions, and I am looking forward to diving into them.
Me too.
But if you want to follow us on social media, you can find me on Periscope, Instagram, and Snapchat. Just I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase. And that's it. 2 L's in Lloyd, no apostrophes. Just I'm Justin Lloyd. JP is on Periscope, and it's jpslim, all lowercase, no spaces.
There you go.
And we will catch you. I'm sorry, what?
I just said easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And actually was your name, Japeapzy.
For a while, I changed it JP Slim, yeah.
But that'll wrap it up for us. Once again, my name is Justin.
And I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.